It's actually really straightforward. The more you know about your brain and how it impacts your body and your behavior, the more you can build mental strength and subsequently confidence. So this Kick-Ass Confidence Quickie is an ADD-sized neuro nugget. It's aimed to give you some simple but scientific strategies that boost and sustain confidence. So today I want to talk about the brain. Don't be scared. It's going to be fun. I promise. I want to share a quick slide with you, and let's dive into a little bit about how the brain works, because it will give you a profound appreciation for really how to control your confidence. And I'm oversimplifying things here to keep it kind of to the bone, but the three main parts of the brain I want to talk about today. The first one is this red section on the bottom. That's the autonomic system control center. It is the brain stem. It actually is the oldest part of the human brain. It dates back to the caveman times, and cavemen would have to make one of two decisions only. If there was a boar a little further away, they would have to decide either I'm going to go and towards and run and attack and fight with that boar because I want it for dinner, or I'm going to run away and flight from it, if you will, because I don't want to be dinner. Those were the two decisions, very primitive. That part of the brainstem, was back then in the caveman days and subsequently has evolved into our heads today. It's actually the first part of our brain that gets developed when we're in utero. It is the control center, as I said, for the autonomic function. So your sweating, your pulse, your breathing, all the things that you do that you don't really think about doing that your body does. It also tends to be the part of the brain that has where you make the rash and regretful response. Again, the fight or the flight, but it's also in a day where you're like not really thinking, you're kind of just reacting. A lot of that is actually happening in the brain stem. The middle part of the brain, the blue part there, is the emotional center of control, and it's the limbic system. This is where all our feelings, if you will, how we love, we hate, we're scared, we're happy, we're joyful, etc. All of that is really centered in there, and it works with other parts of the brain to really control our hormonal responses to things. And it's the blue part. So a lot of what I would call the wants and our worries actually start and reside there, but they don't really stay there. In fact, let's talk about the third part, this green part, where all the executive function is. It's that prefrontal cortex, the front of your brain. In fact, that is not only the last part of the human brain to evolve, so it's the newest part of the human brain, but it's the last part of each of our brains to evolve and develop. And by age 26 is about when it fully develops. So if you're wondering what your teenagers are thinking, as I do every single day, they're not. They don't have all the capacity, all that beautiful matter in the front of their brains to really do advanced analysis and rationalization. That's where it all happens. And it's the executive function, if you will. You probably, if you have boys in particular, they often complain that they have no executive control yet until they get older. It's true, and this is why. But the executive function really is where we start to calculate our values in life and our vision, what we want to be, who we want to be, what kind of person do we want to be remembered by. And that really is all housed in this beautiful front part of our brain called the prefrontal cortex again. So as I mentioned before, the limbic system, that blue part, is really where the emotions are created, live, and breathe. And unfortunately, they don't stay there. So we make a decision, whether it's a conscious decision or not, that they move either up or down. And depending on which direction they move, if they move down, they can fall into the brainstem where all of a sudden we get panicky. Maybe we start sweating, we get a little palpitation, we get nervous and worried, and oh my God, we're out of control. If they move upstairs, they go into the prefrontal cortex area. We start to analyze and really kind of conceptualize, maybe even visualize, and that really helps us gain control of that thought, that emotion. So needless to say, it's a really powerful way to help us boost confidence. We start to feel a little off, maybe concerned or worried, perhaps when something's happened at work and we're feeling like, oh my God, I'm such a failure. Again, if we make that conscious decision to bring it into the front of our brain and really be like, you know, I'm overreacting, this really isn't happening, it's not that bad, what's the worst that can happen? We do some of these other rationalization thoughts around it, we can actually control how we feel about it. So needless to say, I'm hoping that that was an interesting neuro nugget, And it may help as part of the foundation to help build your confidence. If you want to learn more, please, I would love to have you in one of our programs. And there's two options. If you have a company or a nonprofit or association conference that could be interested in a group experience, a workshop, I would love to come and bring that to you. We have Massachusetts Workforce behind us, the grants. So if you have Massachusetts-based employees, the state often pays for half of the training, half, 50% off. Woo-hoo. Call me on that for sure. If your company or organization does not do that kind of group training usually, but you really want to get into this and you want to find a way to boost your confidence, get more control of your career, we have awesome programs. They're called the Career Acceleration Peer Group Programs. You attend virtually from your comfort of your own home in the evenings. They're awesome programs. We have carefully curated the group, so everybody in the group is fantastic, helps one another, and it really is fun. I live lead them on a video conference, so we get to interact and have all kinds of good stuff. And at the end of the sessions, not only do you have more control of your confidence, you actually have a career plan. So again, contact me, kickass-confidence.com. If you want more information on the group or the individual programs. Love to hear from you. That's our Neuro Nugget for today. Rock on, kick some ass.